Happy Star Wars Day, and may the 4th be with you. Hi everyone, how you doing today? So today is May the 4th, well, as of recording, and today I wanted to talk a lot about Star Wars because I cannot believe I haven't talked about it on this channel, and it's to do with pop culture. I mean, Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises ever made, and I still can't believe I haven't talked about it yet. But today's the perfect day to do so, so why don't I give you a bunch of stuff about Star Wars and a bunch of my opinions. So how this video is going to work is that I'm going to talk about what I think of the current age of Star Wars, mainly how it went in the sequel trilogy around that area, also how it's going now with how Disney is now trying to do new things with Star Wars, to how I would like Star Wars to be in the future. So let's talk about the era of what just happened about the last 5 years, or 5 to 7 years, when Disney bought out Star Wars. There was a huge gap between episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which is Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, and episode 7, which is the sequel trilogy. This gap was about 10 years or so, when everyone was wondering what's going to happen to Star Wars. Is anybody going to do anything with it in terms of the movie versions? And was George Lucas going to make a sequel trilogy? It was rumored for quite a long time, and when Disney announced that they bought Star Wars and they were doing a sequel trilogy, as one of the Star Wars fans, I was over the moon. What I was expecting was something to be old school Star Wars and new school Star Wars and make it better for the both of us and show a good evolution of Star Wars in the future. But what we got, I mean, first things first, let me not complain, right? I'm happy we got a sequel trilogy. I'm happy that Star Wars is back. I'm happy that it's everywhere again. I'm happy that we're playing with lightsabers like kids again, and I just want more Star Wars, in all honesty. But man, the sequel trilogy, it could have been so much more. It really could have been so much more. But episode 7 started off really strongly, even though you can argue that it's pretty much A New Hope all over again. But the fact that we got Star Wars back in a really good film, I was really excited for the next couple of films in the sequel trilogy, especially how the other trilogies had gone. In my opinion, nothing has come close to what the original trilogy had, even though that Star Wars, as great as it is a lot of cheesy 80s, 70s style fun sci-fi, and they were just making up stuff on the fly and having fun with it. And the prequel trilogies had already happened, and even though I loved them as a kid, as I got older, you start to realize the flaws, and I realized that the prequel trilogy wasn't it for me either. Even though one thing they got right were the lightsaber battles. Those were fire. Yeah, those are fire. If only they just didn't have Jar Jar Binks. Wow, a Phantom Menace, don't even get me started on that. Coming into the sequel trilogy, I was thinking, alright, the original trilogy is great, but let's not lie, it's not like a masterpiece of movies, and the prequel trilogy is just something. So let's move on to the sequel trilogy and see what we can get from this. After episode 7, which was the Force Awakens, we got to The Last Jedi, and even though I respect what Rian Johnson tried to do with that film, especially trying to make it a new style Star Wars film, I just felt like there was some weak parts of the plot, and there was some stuff that happened that made it seem like episode 7 was pointless, especially to do with Snoke. Like, what was the point of him? Like, why? Him and Phasma. What was the point of both of them? I don't know till today. And then going on to episode 9, I'm not even going to discuss that because I'll be spreading a lot of negativity in this video, and I don't want to be negative. That was the worst Star Wars film ever made. Sorry. Between that and Phantom Menace, I don't know what they were thinking with episode 9, but yeah, let's move on anyway. So we move on from the film side, we come into what I was really impressed by, which is the TV side. Even though I've only watched a couple episodes of the Clone Wars, I thought the Clone Wars was pretty cool, even though I feel like I have a lot to catch up on, especially with the current season, and especially how people have been praising the living daylights out of it. Though one show I have to talk about, which was fantastic, and I think was some of the best Star Wars material I've ever seen, which is The Mandalorian. I'm wearing a Mandalorian shirt right now with Baby Yoda, or the child, and I think that this was one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. From the acting to the world to the whole atmosphere of it, especially how it was meant to be a space western, and they really felt like a space western. And the music by Ludwig Grossman was fantastic, and it all encompassed one beautiful show with breathtaking visuals, by the way. And I think that this is peak Star Wars to me. I'm ridiculously hyped for season 2. I can't wait to see what happens with that, and man, bring on more Mandalorian. And if Disney Plus shows are like The Mandalorian, I think that Star Wars still has such a bright future ahead of it in, you know, live action. Coming to the gaming side, we started off with a rocky start with Star Wars Battlefront 1, which I didn't buy, but I played the demo. It was fun, but I didn't think it was worth buying full price. Then come to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and that started off so poorly, especially how EA had the whole loot box and microtransaction situation with Star Wars Battlefront 2, and the fact that the campaign was a little short. It was looking like it was going to be disastrous Star Wars games all over again. What is cool about Star Wars Battlefront 2 though is that they learned from their mistakes in the beginning, and they just made up for it over these couple of years with beautiful updates that just made the game even more enjoyable. And because of that, I have to give EA credit there. Well done. You actually cleaned up your mess, and you did a good job with it. So fair enough. You guys show that you care about us fans, and that you're willing to put a lot of effort to make sure that Star Wars is done right. And another reason why I can say that is because of a little game called Jedi Fallen Order, which is a great game. It's an amazing game, in fact, with the combat, the story, the visuals. It's just something I've always wanted out of Star Wars, which was a Star Wars adventure game. Wowee, I'm so glad we have Jedi Fallen Order now and Star Wars Battlefront 2, which are great Star Wars games now, and I really can't wait to see what EA does with the Star Wars license as well. Hopefully maybe a Star Wars RPG, but let's see what they do, and let's see if they can come up with some cool ideas, and let's hope they keep this running streak of just being good to us gamers, because we all know EA, EA, you're doing good for now, but I'm watching you. Moving on to what's presently happening in Star Wars, especially with all the announcements, is that, well, I've already touched up on it in the beginning with the more or less past part of the current gen of Star Wars, but Disney are now planning another trilogy of Star Wars films. And originally it was meant to be the writers of Game of Thrones, which was Benioff and Weiss, to write those films. And they left because of creative differences, or I think, was it Netflix? The Netflix deal made them leave, one or the other. I can't even complain, because Game of Thrones Season 8, trash. I wonder who's going to direct this new trilogy of films, because Disney have been making a lot of announcements with people who are going to work with future Star Wars films, but they haven't announced who's working on that trilogy now that Benioff and Weiss has gone. And that movie, the first one of the new trilogy, is meant to come out in 2 years. So I wonder how they're going to do that one. Also, Disney have gotten other producers and directors to direct some future Star Wars films which are unrelated to that new trilogy, like Kevin Feige, the producer, is going to be making a Star Wars film. Rian Johnson's going to have his own trilogy. And just recently, well, today, Taika Waititi was announced to direct his own Star Wars movie. And I'm over the moon that he gets to do that. Especially how the last episode of Mandalorian Season 1 was. I think he's just the right guy for one of those movies. In terms of games, they're probably going to make a Battlefront 3. I already know they're making, or I think it's rumored, that they're making a Jedi Fallen Order 2. Like I said before, I hope that there's a Star Wars RPG, especially as I heard that in the past, one of the best Star Wars games ever was Knights of the Old Republic by EA and BioWare. And one rumor that's been coming up a lot around the beginning of the year, and I think maybe the end of last year, is that Knights of the Old Republic was going to come back and kickstart this whole big Star Wars universe that's not just going to happen in games, but happen in films, comic books, etc. So the name of the project is called Project Luminous. What I know about Project Luminous is that I heard it set about, I think, 200 years before either Episode 1 or Episode 4, well, A New Hope. I can't remember which one it is, but it's going to be a long way back. And what's cool about this is that it shows the Jedi in full force, and it shows a lot of them, and it seems like we're going to get some brand new stories that we've never seen before in Star Wars history. My hope is that Knights of the Old Republic, that whole rumor is true. I think it probably is, because the High Republic seems like it's leaning towards that. In terms of the future of Star Wars, it seems like the High Republic, Project Luminous type shebang is going to be what Star Wars is leaning on towards the future, well, probably after the Disney Plus shows. I'm so excited to see what they do. I want to see brand new worlds, brand new characters, some Jedi powers that I've never seen before. I want to see these guys go ham, honestly. I want to see them go all in on this Project Luminous project, especially with the brand new trilogy and also the future films of Star Wars. One thing I'm hoping though is that Disney do better, because the sequel trilogy, let's not lie, it wasn't the best of things. It was all right and it was nostalgic. So I'll give them credit for that. It was very nostalgic. It was beautiful to watch, as in visually. Well, it was visually beautiful. Sorry, let's clarify that. It was visually stunning. And obviously John Williams, you can't say anything bad about John Williams. His music was always fire. It seems like the sequel trilogy wasn't planned as well as they thought it was. But it seems like Disney is learning from their mistakes, because Project Luminous seems to be the new thing that they've been planning for quite a while, and is what is going to take Star Wars to the heights that it used to be. Overall though, I'm excited. I mean, Star Wars is lit. I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite franchises. It used to be the one until Marvel came on, so yeah, sorry guys. What am I saying? Disney own both. They don't care. But I'm really, really excited that Star Wars is back. I'm happy that Star Wars is back. I love Star Wars. It's awesome. It makes me feel like a kid again, and to me it's just beautiful sci-fi escapism that I just love to see, and I'll probably forever be seeing in the cinemas. Well, except if, well, yeah, I'm probably gonna see it even if it turns trash, in all honesty. It's Star Wars, like Star Wars. What are your opinions on Star Wars, the future, the past, the present, all of Star Wars? Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm open to discussion. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. This video is probably gonna come out late, but oh well. But yeah, I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Like the video, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you soon. So may the force be with you. Or let me just close it.